Welcome to the No Dress Code Pod, where we keep it real, celebrate Black excellence, and dive into the things that matter most. Tune in, vibe out, and let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of the No Dress Code Pod. I'm your favorite host, as well as your favorite hoochie, legs out, not open, Bree. And if this is your first time listening, or if you are a returning guest, then thank you. Thank you, thank you. And you already know what I'm going to say because you already know how I feel about you. Now, before we get this episode started, y'all already know I'm going to ask you to drop in the comments and let me know how your week's been. I hope that you are having an amazing week. We made it to another Wednesday. Like, be grateful. If there's nothing else for us to be grateful about, we need to be grateful. We made it to another week to see each other again. If you're listening, then to hear each other, to hear me again. Okay. So I hope that you guys are having an amazing week. If you're not, drop it in the comments and let me know. Now, there's nothing I could do right now, but continue to speak it over you and pray that your week going forward is amazing. Because what did we say? We only really got to get through Thursday. Don't let these people overwork you on Friday. Friday's work is for Monday. And Monday is never guaranteed. Monday is never guaranteed. You may lose that job on Friday, and guess what? That's less work for you. You may quit, and guess what? That's even less work for you. Okay, make Friday a light day. So before I get into today's episode, let me tell you guys about my week. My week has been pretty good. I haven't really done anything too exciting except go get me a Costco dog. Because y'all know how I love them Costco dogs. But other than that, I've had a pretty chill week. Nothing real exciting. I don't even really think I left the house for anything other than the gym this week. And not in a depressive way. I just have other things to focus on this week. I've really been stressing myself out about the show, trying to figure out episodes, trying to get guests together, trying to figure it out, right? Trying to make this a better and more enjoyable experience for you as well as for me. Although I already enjoyed this. I already enjoyed this. So I'm really trying to look out for y'all is what I'm saying. Y'all coming back every week and I appreciate you. And for the ones who have your bell notifications turned on, I appreciate you. Top tier, chef's kiss. Nobody above you. About privilege. And I know as soon as you say that word, people get all uncomfortable. And they be like, ooh, that's a heavy word right there. Or that ain't got nothing to do with me. And I'm here to tell you, it probably does. It probably does. You're probably overlooking the privilege that you have. It probably does. Because here's the truth. We all have some type of privilege. And I'm not about to sit here and act brand new. Like I don't know my privilege. Like I haven't experienced privileges in my life. Y'all sit here and act like y'all don't have no privilege if you want to, but in all reality, you have a privilege. We all have some sort of privilege. And let's be clear. I keep it 100 with you. I don't have white privilege. I obviously don't experience white privilege. But baby, if I did, and I don't even mean like white passing, which I guess if I had that privilege too, I would definitely use it to my advantage. I'm not here to sit here and lie to you and say I'm not using privilege to my advantage. Any chance I get, any opportunity I get to use my privilege, I'm gonna use it. That's just me. You sit here and act like you're not gonna use the privilege you got. If you got it, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm going to use every single privilege I have every single time. And that's not shade. That's no tea, no shade. That's just pure honesty. I'm going to use it. And I feel like sometimes people hear the word privilege and automatically they feel accused of something. Like, privilege is not a bad word. And I need us to understand that. Privilege is an amazing word. And the only thing worse than privilege, baby, privilege isn't a bad word. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. The only thing that is bad about privilege is when you have it and you wasting it. That's the only bad thing about privilege, is when you have it and you are not using it for the full potential. You are not using it for your better good. That's the only bad thing about privilege. Because because you guys have seen, I've had guests come on, y'all done seen people come on and y'all done seen people talk about me in, not in negative ways, but you guys have heard people talk about me, and I'm not going to sit here and deny that I had a privileged life. I have a very privileged life. I'm not going to say I grew up in a struggle, and I didn't. I didn't. Any struggle I got struggle is because of my own struggle. It ain't got nothing to do with how I grew up, baby. I grew up privileged. I grew up in a 2-parent household. That's a privilege. That is a privilege. Not only did I grow up with the privilege of having living in a 2-parent household, I also grew up with the privilege of not worrying about finances. I didn't have to worry about how my parents was going to feed us. I didn't have to worry about flicking a light switch and wondering if that light was going to turn on. I didn't have to worry about putting my key in the keyhole and hoping that the locks ain't been changed. Like, I grew up with a privilege that as I get older, I can acknowledge more and more. I didn't grow up with instability. I grew up with options. I grew up with options, and that alone is a privilege. People hear the word privilege and think it's a bad word. It's an insult. It is completely not. It's a resource. Change your mindset. If you're only thinking of privilege as white privilege, change your mindset. There are so many more privileges. Now, I can acknowledge that I'm not going to benefit from every privilege, right? Obviously, white privilege is something I'm not going to benefit from. I'm not white passing and I'm not white. I'm never going to benefit from that privilege. And I'm not saying it to be funny, but it is what it is. I mean, I can't hate you if you benefit from it, because I benefit from my own privileges. It would be very hypocritical of me to be like, fuck you because you benefit from white privilege, when I know I benefit from privilege as well too. And not even just because of my family household or because of, anything like that, baby. I just know I could walk into a room and there's a certain privilege I carry. And I said what I said. I can walk into a room. I can walk into certain rooms and know that there is a privilege that I carry. Baby, I'm easy to look at. I'm not hard on the eyes, even at my thickest, even at my biggest. I knew I had privilege. I didn't acknowledge it to the full extent, but I knew I had privilege. I knew I could still walk into a room. And then that's why I don't mean by, like, that's why I say it, because I don't mean by, like, size. I mean, baby, I could walk into a room at this size, at my slim thick, at my thickest, at my biggest, and still know I carry privilege. Still know I'm always easy on the eyes. And that's not arrogance. That's not, that's just, me being honest. I know what I look like. And me knowing what I look like does not take away from you and what you look like. Because we can still be two women who walk into the same room and, all eyes be on us. And your eyes don't take away from my eyes, and my eyes don't take away from your eyes. Baby, you still got eyes, and I still got eyes. Period. Like, that's not arrogance. I have benefited from pretty privilege. I just benefited this past week from pretty privilege. Baby, I got my car cleaned so goddamn well, it looked like it was detailed from pretty privilege. I ain't pay a dime. I offered to get that man some tip, but he ain't want it. I ain't paid nothing. Pretty privilege. Then again, he did offer. Okay, he offered. I didn't ask. He offered. Cause I'm pretty. I mean, it is what it is. Take it how you take it, but pretty privilege is a real thing. I may not be the baddest or the prettiest in your eyes, but I don't care about your eyes. I don't care about your eyes. I'm going to use the privilege I got for as long as I got it. And the only time I tried to act like I didn't have pretty privilege, or the only time I really was like not acknowledging that I was receiving pretty privilege, is when I was dealing with that man named Harry Potter. Because his insecure ass did not like me using the pretty privilege. That man, and I get it to a certain extent. What can a man do that I can't do for you? But obviously, he's doing a lot. Obviously, they're doing things you're not doing for me, and they're not even getting the benefits. Yeah. I learned my lesson, baby. I'm gonna use my pretty privilege. Since I stopped dealing with Harry Potter, baby, I use whatever privilege I got to the full extent. Because why waste it? Privilege is meant to be used. Harry Potter, and I'm not gonna get too deep into this because this episode ain't about him. He was the type of man though that wanted basically me. I can't speak for nobody else. I'll speak for myself. Wanted me to shrink so that he could feel better about himself. And sir, I'm sorry you don't have the same privilege as me. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry you can't go to the gas station and somebody see you and just offer to pay and pump for your gas. Cause I'm gonna take it every time. What do you mean? I'm sorry you're not at a restaurant and somebody just offered to pay for your meal. I'm gonna take it. You want me to deny a free meal because of you? You're not paying for this meal? You about to make me come out of pocket. And this man over here just told the waitress to go ahead and put it on his bill. You're crazy as fuck. Yeah. Anyways, that's the only time that I would have denied my privilege. But here's the thing about privilege. Privilege is meant to be fucking used. Okay? It's not meant to be clout. It's not meant to be a flex. It is meant to open doors and to make space. Privilege at its core is meant to make life easier for somebody. Privilege at its core is meant to make life easier for someone when and if you can. And I think that's the part that a lot of people leave out when they mention privilege, because you can't control the privileges that you're born with, but you can control how you use them. So you can't control that you were born with white privilege. That's just how you were born. But you can control what you do with your white privilege. And I want to be clear, because I think a lot of the times people get shit misconstrued. And I'm going to say that with all actuality and all honesty, because I know when it comes to me, people get shit misconstrued. Having privilege, whether it be being pretty privileged, whether it be growing up in a financially stable household, whether it be coming from a 2-parent household, having privilege does not negate or prevent you from having suffering. Because I grew up stable. I grew up with 2 parents in a household. I grew up with a provider, protector, professor. I grew up with home cooked meals. I grew up with going out to eat on a regular. I grew up with, having a whole swing set in the backyard. I grew up, not having to figure shit out. I grew up, being allowed to be a kid, because that's a privilege too. If you think about it, because some people grow up and they're not allowed to be kids. They have to grow up fast. And I ain't had that. I can acknowledge at this day and age, at this point, that was a privilege. But a lot of times people look at you and be like,
oh, well, you grew up in a 2-parent household.
you
You guys grew up financially stable. You can still live at home with your parents or whatever.
And you're right. But that does not take away from any struggle I may have. I have privileges, yeah, but I still have a fucking life. Like, I have privileges, but shit, I still got shit I gotta deal with. And I think a lot of the times, I don't know about y'all, but I know a lot of the times people take that and be like,
well, what problems do you have? Why would you have any problems? You're not doing X, Y, and Z. You're not, you're not paying a mortgage. You're not shelling out $16,000, $18,000, $2,000 a month.
And you're right, but that does not mean I don't have fucking struggles. Like, don't even get me started on people. Baby, use whatever privilege you have to the best of your fucking ability. Because that's what privilege is for. Because even with the privileges that I was allotted at birth and the privileges that I have acquired over the years, that doesn't mean I didn't have to unlearn some wild shit or fight for my worth in spaces that tried to ignore it. Privilege ain't opened up all my fucking doors. Privilege ain't give me no completely soft life. Too many people get caught up in the who had it worse and forget that 2 things can be true. You may have had a worse childhood than me, but that doesn't say I didn't go through shit in my childhood. You may have a worse off adulthood than me, but that doesn't mean I'm not struggling with my own shit. 2 things can be true. And just because your childhood was worse or, you feel like your adulthood is worse, it does not take away from me and what I went through. It's not really a worse. It's just it is a worse. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. It is a worse. Some people did have worse childhoods. Some people did experience traumas that I did not experience. And that's just that on that. That's just that on that. But I can acknowledge my advantages. I can acknowledge my advantages as much as I can acknowledge my challenges. And that's called nuance. You should try it sometimes. If you're not already, you should try it sometimes. So yeah, I don't shy away from my privilege. I don't, and I'm not going to perform, and I'm not about to perform as someone who had to struggle when I know I didn't, or someone who had to like get it out the mud when I know I didn't. The only time I talk about getting out the mud is when I was a swimmer. If you don't know what that mean when I was a sperm. That's the only time I had to get some shit out the mud was when I was a sperm. Yeah, but as far as me, I've lived a very privileged life, and so a lot of people will hate on that, and they'll tell you,
well, you were privileged. You lived a privileged life growing up.
And that's what you want for your kids, don't you? Okay then. You coming at me as if I lived a privileged life, like that's not the same thing you're trying to provide for your child or your children. Don't be mad at me. I was just born into it. But this is the exact same thing that you want to provide for your kids. Situations just it didn't happen the way that you wanted it to happen, and that's life. But the people who try to shame you for privilege is crazy. Cause I wholeheartedly just used my privilege this past week to get my car. When I tell you, I thought I was going for a basic car wash. This man detailed the fuck out of my car. Done buff scratches out. I said, "Well, do you know how to change speakers?" Cause my speaker blew out the last time they broke into it, and it ain't been the same since. He don't know how to change speakers, but he said he know how to paint. He said he know how to paint, and did he ask for a kiss? He did, and did he get one? No. No, I don't do physical touch. Especially when I don't even know you, I don't do physical touch. And you could say, and you could look at me and be like, well, why'd you take the free car wash then if you weren't going to give him a kiss? Or, baby, why did he offer? Huh? Okay then. That's like somebody going to that's like you just walking down the street, or cuz really I was minding my own business when this man caught me. So that's just like, you being wherever you're at and somebody offers to cover your tab. That don't mean you got to go home with them. That don't mean you got to give them your number. So you can either cover the tab or not, but the tab is going to be paid regardless. He could have either washed the car or not, but eventually that car was going to get detailed. And baby, that man, when I tell you he spent damn near 3 hours cleaning my car, he spent damn near 3 hours cleaning my car. I'm going to insert a clip for y'all that I can. I'm going to black out his face because y'all don't need to know who he is. Car looks so good now, child. If you got food and I don't want you in my car. Okay? If the food has a smell, don't get in my car. This car cleaning so well, baby. I thought it was detailed. No smells in this car. In case y'all see him, I don't need y'all looking for no car wash. That's my new friend. Don't know his name at all, but that's my new friend. And yeah, he washed my car for 3 fucking hours. My car is so clean right now. I looked out the window and I said, baby, how could you see before this man cleaned your car? On top of that, this was like better than a car wash, okay? On top of that, I said, ooh, This man cleaned my car so goddamn good. I'm feeling like I'm living in a fishbowl. My car is cleaned that well. Mind you, I vacuumed, right? I vacuumed. I did a little 1-2 on the vacuum. But he said came through. I don't know what he did, but whatever was left over from the vacuum, he took care of. I don't know how he did it. And I literally sat there for 3 hours and watched him. I don't know how he did it, but he came through and cleaned the fuck out of that car. Now, I did offer to tip him, right? It wasn't going to be the kiss on the cheek that he requested, but I did offer to tip him. I was taking it out of my Costco dog money that I leave in my car, for emergencies when the debit and credit line is too long. So I was really offering at my Costco dog money, and that's what really that should really tell you how much I was willing to tip this man, because my Costco dog money, and it was enough to get me a few dogs, not just one. And because they only $1.65, so not just one. It was enough to get me a few, damn near a dozen dogs, damn near, Yeah, so I definitely use that privilege to my advantage. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I'm gonna use that one every time. That man cleaned that car so well and told me he could paint it. Told me he could paint it because the side of it is like spray painted. It just, yeah. So he told me he could fix it, and I'ma let him. Because you're offering. Why would I not? And that's what I'm talking about. I get it, because I was watching this video on Instagram, and it was this girl. I think her name is Chanel. I could be wrong, but it was this girl, her husband, and they were talking, and he was like, "We're going through her DMs today," and so she was like, "Okay, let me preface this by saying, no, I don't know these people, but let's go through my DMs." So they started going through her DMs, and I don't know if y'all can hear them dogs in the background, but if you can, apologies, right? I don't know what they got going on today, but they must be selling Memorial Day weekend as well. Cause chill out. But anyway,
we're reading Chanel's DMs. All right.
Wait, listen. Before you say anything, I don't know these people.
Ready for the first one? Marry me now. We belong together for eternity. I'm gonna make love to your soul. Oh.
That's crazy.
You gonna make love to these hands. I would love to get to know you a lot better in person. Do these people not see me in your videos?
I don't know, babe.
I love you, Chanel. You make me fall in love, beautiful. I'm glad you do see what I see in you, but damn. Have you ever been a sugar baby before? Yeah, you have been a sugar baby. You are now. It ain't nothing that he can give you what I'm not already providing.
You right. I'm already a sugar baby.
What's your card number?
Yours.
Exactly. I love to get to know you, pay some bills. Why do these people think you struggling? Hello, gorgeous. Sorry to interfere on your privacy. I'm looking for a sugar baby to take care of her needs and pay her allowance of $5,000 weekly to chat with me every day. Daddy got you covered. Hey, send him my way. I'm going to chat with him. He ain't got to know it's me.
So that made me, I get it. Okay, what? What can these men do for you that I'm not doing for you already? That man detailed my car damn near. Ain't nobody else doing that for me right now. And granted, I normally just pay to get my car detailed at my own house. I don't really like going out like that. I make them people come to me. And yes, I do pay for the convenience of it. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I hop on Yelp real quick and find me a detailer that will come to me every single time. I do not ever go get my car detailed. I always make them come to me. Not the point. But I said, this man detailed this car so damn good. It was supposed to just be a car wash. I took my car already to go get vacuumed. I got what I could out. That I was at that vacuum spot for like, I felt like an hour. It was probably like 30 minutes. So it was definitely more than 10. And I know they only give you like a 5-minute limit. So I was definitely there. Like cars had pulled in next to me and pulled out, and I was still vacuuming. That's what I mean. So I was gone for a minute. I came back 3 hours. That man washed my car. He polished my car. He got some of the scrapes out. He told me he could paint it. Like, all he asked for was a kiss on the cheek and my phone number. I could not give him the kiss on the cheek. And something in me told me that he had a girl or a wife or something along those lines, right? Mind you, I don't live in this apartment building, so I don't really care what you got going on because that ain't my business. But something in me told me he got a girl because he had a little boy with him. It was a cute little kid. He had a cute little kid with him. And I'm just like, something in me tells me you have a girl. I'm still going to accept this car wash. I'm still going to accept this car wash. Mind you, before y'all drag me to hell in the comments, I didn't facilitate the car wash. Somebody else brought it up to him. One of his neighbors was like, "Hey, yo, can you wash this girl's car for me? And I'll, tip you however I tip you." He said, "Yeah, cool." Mind you, I know it didn't take much convincing. I know it didn't, because when I was waiting on you outside of your apartment building and he was across the street washing the car, I had already saw him watching me. And I never even stepped out of the car. I never even stepped out of the car. So I already knew that it wasn't going to take much convincing or much asking of you for him to wash my car. So I took it. Yeah. And then afterwards, we was talking about it, and somebody else was like, "Oh, that," she's like, "Oh, that's who washed the car." And I was like, "Yeah, girl, go ahead and get that if you can. Because this is your apartment building, so you really could." And she was like, "No, because, he flirted with me and just making it awkward." I said, "Girl, let me tell you, he did the whole thing. He flirted with me the whole time. He was washing my car. He even asked my number. And when I tell you, I almost slid him this boy's number." I almost slid him this boy's number. They're already living in the apartment building because you don't need mine. Anytime you ready to wash this car again, you just call this boy, he called me over. You don't need mine. Cause I can't give you no kiss, sir. Not on the cheek. I already felt like if I was to give you a kiss on the cheek, you was gonna turn your head and make it a kiss on the lips, and I would have to just punch you. So I told him, because he was like, "Oh, do you want my girlfriend? This and the third." And I'm just like, "No, I'm okay. I'm good. No, thank you." But then I had to start lying. I said, "Baby, I'm toxic. You letting this pretty fool you." I said, "I'm toxic." That man said, "I like toxic." I said, "Well, let me try this. I like to fight." And then I showed him the boxing gloves and the headgear in my back seat and let him know I was serious. I likes to fight. I'm not going to fight over you, but I'm just letting you know. I know what it is, and I like to fight. That didn't deter him, but I didn't care because I was still getting my car washed. And he still offered to paint it. Now, I will go buy the paint. That I will do. I will provide the paint. And I'm going to just let him paint it because you offered. And I'm going to use my privilege at any turn. Any chance. I was talking to this girl outside of the apartment building, and I was telling her, like, "Yeah, baby, use the privilege." And she was like, "Oh, I don't think I really have privilege." And the guys we're talking to was like, "No, you have privilege. You do." And it's so funny that we were having this conversation, and I knew I was going home to record about privilege. And they was like, "You got privilege," because no man would ever walk down the street and offer to wash my car for free. So she was was like, okay, what about a kid? And he was like, a little boy? No, probably not, even if they were just getting started, because he was like, I'm pretty sure his dad has already taught him, like, you don't do stuff for men for free. And I said, well, baby, that's not my struggle. That one's got nothing to do with me. Because back in the day, I would be like, oh, no, it's okay. I'll just pay to get my car washed, For what? Baby, the car wash was not going to wash it the way that man washed it. And all I had to do was smile. Smile and be nice. And I didn't really have to smile and be nice. All I had to do was be me. All I had to do was show up. I definitely used my little pretty privilege that day. I don't know if it was pretty. I want to say it was pretty privilege. I was going to say black privilege. I was going to say black privilege because I was thinking, well, maybe he likes black women, but I feel like another one of those kids that walked out of the apartment building was his, and she didn't give black. But the little one gave, like, he could have potentially been black. But it didn't really matter. I used my privilege that day, and I will use it any chance I get. Any chance I get. I don't really care, because that's what privilege is for. Privilege is meant to be used. People hear the word privilege and really think of it as like a bad thing, but really privilege is there to open doors. Privilege is also like you getting the job because of who you know. That was a privilege, was it not? Okay, then. See, people only have problem with privileges until it benefits them. People only have a problem with privilege until it benefits them. Because if you had the privilege, or if you had the privilege to, I don't know, say go see Beyonce in a suite, or if you had the privilege to go to Beyonce's concert and meet her backstage, that's a privilege I'm sure you're going to fucking take, and you're going to be happy you had. I mean, that's a privilege, is it not? Okay, then. People only have a problem with privilege until it benefits them. And you can't be like that, because we all have our own little privilege. Again, privilege looks different for everybody. Some people do not have pretty privilege. Some people do. Some people don't have born with a silver spoon in their mouth privilege. I'm one of them ones who don't have the born with the silver spoon in their mouth privilege, but I don't be mad at the ones who do. I can't be mad at what you were born into. I can't be mad at what you worked for either, but I can't be mad at the circumstances that you were born into. That's your privilege. Use it to the best of your ability, and use it to the best of you. Use it to open doors. Use it to get somewhere. If not for you, use it for someone else. Privilege does not always have to just benefit you. I use my privilege all the time. I sure do. Because you said you wanted to do what for me? I don't really want that, but I do know a man who does. And yeah, I'll take it. Yeah. And then that man benefited off my privilege. I'm just saying. People really don't like privilege until it benefits them. Y'all better learn. So yeah, I don't shy away from my own privilege. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I got it out the mud. I ain't been in the mud since I was Baby, it's always so funny to me because y'all don't understand. Like, I really used to talk to my daddy like this, and I miss that man. God damn. I used to be like, I can't even tell y'all right now. I'll wait to go to the Father's Day. I'll wait to go to our Father's Day episode. But yeah, privilege is something that needs to be used. and use it to the best of your ability. If you have privilege, baby, use it, own it, leverage it, help make shit better for the people around you. Before I let you guys go today, I haven't read it. We're trying to stay on theme, so I do got a little privilege Reddit for y'all. So this one says, am I the asshole for pointing out that my brother lives a very privileged life? My 45 male older brother, 51 male, lives with me. He's never really been good at life. He's had a few jobs here and there, but mostly just stuff like Walmart, McDonald's, and he delivered pizzas for about a month. He's never held down a job for more than 60 days. He dropped out of high school and never bothered to get a GED, let alone any college or trade school. He mostly just sits in his room, drinking my booze, smoking my pot, and eating my food while he plays whatever. I don't know what JRPG game is, but it says JRPG. We're gonna go with whatever game he's currently obsessed with. I don't mind this. I truly don't. I did well in life, and my wife invested our money very well, so we're comfortable. I have more than enough resources to support him fully for the rest of our lives, and I intend to do so. He's not taking food out of my kids' mouths. He's not cutting into their college funds. It's literally extra money that I would just be squirreling away if I didn't spend it on him. Last night at dinner, my wife told me that her brother lost his job. He worked for a company that recently had massive layoffs, so it was due to no fault of his own, and asked me if we could float him some cash for bills and stuff while he finds a new job. I told her to have him send me an estimate of how much he needs to cover 6 months, and that was that. Or so I thought. My brother proceeded to head over to Facebook and post a rant about how people need to be more self-sufficient. I couldn't even read the shit because it was funny. Our brother proceeded to head over to Facebook and post a rant about how people needed to be more self-reliant and not ask for handouts they didn't earn. He didn't mention my brother-in-law by name, but it was pretty clear that that's what was triggering his rant. I commented on his post and I asked him how living off of me for the past 9 years was self-reliant. I told him that he is in an incredibly privileged position. I told him that he is in an incredibly privileged position because not everyone has a millionaire brother to pay all their bills for them. I also asked him how the allowance I give him every week is not a handout. Anyways, a bunch of his friends from his video game started clowning on him in the comments. Apparently, he tells people online that he's an investment banker. He deleted the post and has not come out of his room since. There is an ensuite bathroom. Don't worry. Well, baby, you're a millionaire. I would assume he had a bathroom somewhere that he ain't have to bother you about. My wife says it was fucked up of me to call him out publicly like that and that I could have been more respectful about it. And my aunt is furious with me for airing the family laundry. So I kind of think I might be the asshole here, not for what I said, but for the fact that I said it publicly. But at the same time, I don't feel like the asshole because his rant was public too. Sir, let me go ahead and tell you something. Okay. Your brother is 51. You are 45. Your brother has been living with you since he was 42. Baby, you're not the asshole. You're not. You are giving a 51-year-old man an allowance. Now, I'm not one to shame, and I'm not one to judge. Do you need another adoptee? I wouldn't mind an allowance either if we're talking. And we said weekly. I wouldn't mind an allowance. Now your brother, he's trying to front. Your brother is fronting as if he's you. And baby, your brother is wrong. Period, point blank. Your brother definitely is benefiting from privilege. Your brother made a fucking public statement. And that's one thing I think people tend to forget. When you publicly disrespect me, I don't want no fucking private apology. I want the apology the same way the disrespect came. I want a public fucking apology. You can apologize to me in private, and that could be the most sincerest one. But I need you to get on this fucking internet here. I need you to get on Jasmine Sullivan's internet here and tell these people that you publicly apologize to me as well. Your brother unprovokingly, publicly hopped on a forum and talked about receiving handouts that they ain't earned. Did he earn it because he came out of the same place you came out of? Okay, then. One thing about me, I don't care about your privilege. Your brother is severely privileged. In my opinion, you're not the asshole. And you know what? Your brother is not the asshole for being privileged or for being given an allowance. Because you know, what you allow, you allow. And that's just you. And you ain't got no problem with it. I ain't got no problem with it. I love that for you. You like it, I love it. But your brother is wrong, and your wife is just being nice. She's being nice. Because how you going to compare me asking for 6 months of help? And I've been working at a job for years that just so happened to go through a massive layoff. So that was not a fault of my own. I didn't get fired. I didn't quit. I'm not being irresponsible. Shit happened. And it just so happened that I was one of the people who got let go. I'm asking, hey, can you float me 6 months? I expect to be back on my feet in less than 6 months. And more than likely, the brother-in-law would have offered to pay the brother back. But the sister and the family back. Baby, you've been living here for 9 years, rent-free. Because you can't keep a job longer than 60 days. And I am the queen of not being able to keep a job. But I last for at least a year. Past that year mark, that's really where you lose me at. But I give you a year. But you can't last 60 days. Now, I won't even comment on the places that you're working. I'm not saying that's beneath me or that I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying you couldn't last 60 days. I just feel like McDonald's got not unlimited chances, but I feel like how much can you fuck up to get fired from McDonald's? I don't know. How much? I hear people say that they work at Walmart for years because Walmart really don't be giving a fuck. How you get fired from Walmart? I don't know. Baby, you're not the asshole though. The disrespect was public. Yeah. Yeah, it was public and you needed to respond publicly. I respect your wife for trying to, take the high road. Your wife is definitely better than me. Your wife is better than me, and I'm just gonna say that because I definitely I would say I would have called you, but you living in my house. I ain't gotta call you. You didn't feel the need to have this conversation with me like you didn't hear it in my house. You took it to the internet. That's why I don't like internet games. Cause baby, when I play internet and you play internet, who you think will win? That's why I don't even get involved in internet games. Baby, you just talk about me on the internet and I'm gonna just let you live because I can't get involved. I just go to the depths of hell. So in order to I'm already fighting for my spot, consistently fighting for my spot. I can't go to. I can't do no internet games with you. That's just me. that's all I have for you today. I want you guys to ask yourself or look at yourself. And if you feel like you don't have any privilege, like this episode just did not resonate with you at all, you're tripping, you're lying to yourself, and you may want to look again. Your presence, your access, your softness, your humor, all that can be a privilege in somebody else's life. Do not take it for granted. You have privilege. That's just what I'm trying to say. That's all I have for you guys today. Before I let you go, though, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do not forget to follow us on Instagram as well as TikTok. I'm actually starting to be a little bit more active on TikTok. So don't forget to follow us on TikTok and Instagram at No Dress Code Pod. I will link it for TikTok because it's a little different. It's like a period in between each word. So it's no period, no period, dress period, code period, pod. And I don't know why, but that's just how it worked out. We are trying to be more active, trying to be, push them out there more. So I hope to see you guys on Instagram. I hope to see you guys on TikTok. And I hope to see you guys here next week. And don't forget to turn your bell notifications on. Don't forget to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend to pull up. Because they're going to love it here, just like you do. And I'll see you in next week's episode. Bye. You're still here? You know the show's over, right? Don't cry. We'll be back next week. I gotta go be a hoochie. In the meantime, catch up on the older episodes.